everyone. So I'm back today to talk about what it's like in your first associate software engineering role at 6 months. And in the beginning, I was worried, would I be able to do this job? What would each day entail? How much help would I get? And I've found that at 6 months, I'm doing awesome. And I credit a lot of it to my mindset and my team. My team is extremely supportive. I'm able to collaborate with people, ask questions. I've grown a lot more confident in myself. And so I'm able to read documentation. And most of the time when people help me, they're giving me clues and I can go find the answer instead of just, help me, I have no clue what I'm doing. Something great that my company's working on is at our reviews, which I've already had one. It went great, that was exciting. We're talking about how do we get me to a mid-level engineer. And so for me, I think I'm really content in my role now, and I feel like I have so much growth to do that the idea of like mid-level seems pretty far away. But in my company now, they basically have like a rubric essentially of when you've met these milestones, when you are performing at this level, we will, evaluate you for mid-level position. And the great thing about it is that even when you're mid-level, even when you're a senior engineer at my company, questions are still welcome. There's always going to be people on the company that are working on a component or a piece of the code that they know really well. So if you're picking up a bug on a component that someone else has worked really deeply with, chatting with them about how the logic works, anything confusing, can speed up your development process. Because something that I've found now working there 6-7 months, something I prided myself on was being able to tackle a challenge and not ask for help. Like be able to get as far as I could and then ask for help. Because in my boot camp, I was someone that if I saw something new or challenging, I would kind of internally freak out, and then I'd ask, my teacher or the coach to go over it with me and like walk me through exactly what to do, and I'd ask a ton of questions, and I'd be in a very fearful place. And so my pendulum has swung to the other side where now I feel more confident. I feel like I have the tools to figure things out, but I have to kind of check myself and ask myself the question, what is the priority on this bug? What is the priority on this feature? Can the company afford to have me work at it for 2 days, or should I ask the question after 6 hours of working on it and complete it in 1 day? Because there's some things where asking a question or not will really speed up my process. Because I think something big I'm learning as well is how to do a proper code review. What part of our application does its component affect? And then going on the application and manually testing all of those things. So I think it's been incredible, the growth I've had. I've just been really fearless in trying new things. Like if there's an MR that scares people, I'm like, okay, I'll try it if it's small. And I'm willing to find the answers and work at it. I think it's really critical to have a growth mindset as a developer for the end of time. Because even if you're a senior developer that's amazing at Django or React, the technologies are always changing. Each version released is going to have new features and different things going on with it. So you can't ever say, okay, I'm done learning. You have to always be willing to learn. And that's the joy and the fun of it, because you could be working with, a package and then they update it and that bug you were having is resolved. So it's really good to stay abreast of new technologies, new updates, things like that. I think too, what's also really important is having a self-care practice. So like me, in my boot camp, I had intrusive thoughts, imposter syndrome, anxiety, was freaking out before every code review. I was crying and hysterical, and it was like really intense. I wanted to quit a bunch of the time. And then my boyfriend was like, okay, let's start meditating. So halfway through my boot camp, we started meditating every single day for just 10 minutes in the morning through Headspace. And it completely transformed the way I identify with my thoughts. And so now, after having that practice, I think we did it for like 60 or 70 days, I'm able to, a lot of those fears that I had and that imposter syndrome has really disappeared. And I think it is very rare for someone to say their imposter syndrome disappeared. But because of my growth mindset, I know that when I do get promoted, when I am a mid-level, I'm a mid-level, period. but it's really a state of mind. It's about knowing that you can learn anything, and I mean that. Any person can learn anything. I'm a communication studies major with a women gender studies minor. If you were to ask anyone in my college, will Brooke be coding? Will she be an engineer at some point? No, nobody in the world would have ever thought that. I would have never thought that up until 2 years ago. But a growth mindset is really the belief that anyone can learn anything, and that is absolutely true. I'm really grateful every single day that this company took a chance on me, and that really motivates me to work hard. And leave comments down below if you have any questions, if you have things you want me to touch on in my year video, which will be in January. But I hope you're all doing well, and have a great day.